Good morning, students. Hope you all fine and safe. And let us go on today's class. And today we are supposed to discuss one new chapter, that is organ and organ system in animals. So in the previous class we discussed regarding this tissues, fine, and various tissues and its structure and functions we discussed, right? And of course we know the group of cells for forming a tissue, right? And in this chapter we are going to discuss regarding this organ and organ system. So group of tissue is forming an organ and group of organs are forming an organ system, right? So in this chapter especially we are going to learn about three invertebrates. What do you mean invertebrates? There is no vertebral column or backbone for these animals. So three invertebrates, their organs, their organ systems, their morphology and anatomy, all those things we are going to discuss in this chapter. Fine? Okay. So what is morphology and anatomy? Morphology means the study of form or externally visible features of an animal. So morphology defines regarding these external features of an animal, right? But in case of this anatomy, defines is a study of internal organs in animals, right? So the structure of an internal organs, right? So that is the difference between this morphology as well as anatomy, right? So especially today we are going to discuss regarding this the first invertebrates as we said as an earthworm. So today we will discuss about the general features of earthworm and the morphology of earthworm and the morphological differences and morphological as well as anatomical differences of two earthworms. Fine? Okay. So let us see the first general features of earthworm, right? Hope you all knows about this earthworm. So it is one of the terrestrial invertebrate, right? Then inhabits this upper layer of this moist soil rich in organic matters. We know we used to wash these earthworms on the surface of this soil wherever it is moist, and because means there is wherever there is a water content is there plus rich in organic matters, means wherever there is this waste organic substances, food waste, plant waste, so wherever this organic matters is there, those areas these earthworms used to deposit. Fine? And it is a nocturnal animal. What do you mean nocturnal animal? It used to be active during the night. So during daytime it has to stay inside these burrows, right? So it will be active during this night. So those animals are known as nocturnal animals. Fine? And it lives in the burrows which is taken by these animals, right? Then earthworms are considered as friends of farmer. Hope you may learn in this lower classes also about this. Why earthworms are known as friends of farmer? Because since this earthworm is living on the surface of the soil as well as in this uh, deep layers of the soil also, right? So when it is taking the burrows, it is making the hole, so it is helping for the aeration of this land. So the air is moving inside this land, it is helping for this plants for its better growth. So that's why the same process it is done by the farmers by ploughing process, right? But naturally this earthworm is helping for this process. That's why these earthworms are known as friends of farmers. Okay. So in India, there are three types of these earthworms are there, right? And let us see the types. The first one, the scientific name is Lambito maruti. Lambito maruti. The figure also displayed there, that is Lambito maruti. The second one is Peronix excavatus. Peronix excavatus. Fine. And the figure also displayed there. Fine. Then the third one is Metaphyre posthuma. Metaphyre posthuma, and it is too dark than this other two. Right. So these three is our Indian earthworms. Okay. Then the earthworms are classified basically based on this ecological strategies, where it is to survive or live. As per that, the earthworms are classified as three types. The types are epigeics, anisics, endogeics. The first one, epigeics, means on the soil. On the soil. So, for example, one of this type of earthworm, Perionyx excavatus, is epigeics types, which means it used to live on the surface of the soil, on the surface of the soil, right? That's why it is known as epigeics. Fine. And the second one is any six varieties. One of these example is Lambito maruti, right? And what do you mean this one? Anisics means outer layer of the earth. Outer layer of the earth. It is not on the surface, just below the surface. Outer layer. So of course we may know the soil will be as many layers, right? So this is present just below this surface. So that's why they said it is a outer layer of this soil. One example, Lambito maruti, right? And the third one is Endogeics Octochetona thurstoni. Octochetona thurstoni is an example for endogeics varieties. Means it used to live under this earth, inside the earth, right? So this is three types of this earthworm. This classification is made based on this ecological strategies. The figure which is displayed there you can understand easily. So the outer surface epigeics varieties are there, and in the first layer of the soil anisics are there, and the innermost layer endogeics worms are there. And let us go on this morphology of earthworm, right? So as we said already, what do you mean morphology? To learn about this external features of this or visible features of an animal is known as morphology, right? And when we look into this earthworm, especially Lambito maruti is displayed here. Let us see what are these external features is there for this Lambito maruti. Fine. Regarding the first character is shape. So almost all the varieties of this earthworm is cylindrical in shape, and it is very narrow cylindrical shape, right? And the second point is regarding the size. And the size is the length is 80 to 210 millimeter, and the width is 3.5 to 5 millimeter, right? It's regarding the size. And the color is light brown in color, with purplish tinge at this anterior end. The anterior region, one tint is there, that is purple in color. The color of this earthworm actually it is because of this one of this pigment that is known as porphyrin. Porphyrin. So in our body also our color is because of pigment known as melanin, right? So like here the earthworm's color also because of this presence of the pigment known as porphyrin, right? Okay. Then the next point is segments, right? So the body of this earthworm is divided as various repeated units. So already we have learned if there is repeated units are there, those type of these segments are known as metamias, right? Since the same segment is repeated, it is known as a metamias. So because of this presence of this repeated segments, there is one groove between these two segments. Can you watch the groove? Means one depression. So between these segments there is one circular depression that is known as grooves, right? And in case of this lambitomority, it consists of 165 to about 190 segments, right? So it consists of this 165 to 190 segments. Then, and how can we differentiate this dorsal view as well as a ventral view of this earthworm? We got this. So dorsal view means outermost region and ventral view is a bottom region, right? So how could we differentiate? Since it is cylindrical in shape, it is we cannot differentiate. So how can we differentiate this dorsal view as well as this ventral view, right? So in the dorsal side they said it consists of dark mid dorsal line. One in the longitudinal axis there is one dorsal mid dorsal line is there, right? Whereas in case of this ventral side, it consists of genital openings. Can you watch the figure? There is a genital opening is marked, right? Can you notice there? There's some pore or holes are marked there. That is useful for the reproduction process. That's what they mention it as a genital pores. So if there is a genital pores are present, that is ventral view, and if there is a mid dorsal line is there, that is known as a dorsal part, right? Okay. Then next one is regarding peristomium. So peristomium is nothing else. It is the mouth of this earthworm. So the mouth is present in the first segment. Can you notice there as a first segment? So in the first segment, in the center region of this first segment, this mouth is present. That mouth is known as peristomium, right? And in this peristomium, overhanging the mouth is a small flap called as a prostomium. In the mouth, one lips like one overhanging is there. That is known as a prostomium. Clear? Okay. Then the next one is regarding the pygidium. So pygidium in the sense the last segment of this earthworm is actually it's this anus region. This last segment consists of this anus. That segment is known as pygidium. Clear? And next region is regarding this clitellum. It is one of this very important region of this earthworm, clitellum region. So clitellum is actually it is one glandular thickening, one thick region is there. Why it is mentioned as a glandular? Because it is doing the secretory process. So already we learned about this word glandular epithelium. Do you remember? Glandular in the sense it is doing the secretory process. Okay. So this also, the clitellum also, we can say it's a swollen, thick glandular region. It is present in the segment number 14 to 17. Right? It's a thick region. And this also helping for the formation of cocoon. This also we can say it is involving in the reproduction process mainly. Clear? So that region is known as a clitellum. It is located in this segment number 14 to 17. Right? And another one important region is a setae, and setae is present in throughout this body. It is one of this minute hair-like projections. It is present throughout the body and it is S-shape. So the setae figure also displayed there. S-shaped curve-like structure. It is present throughout the body and especially it is useful for this locomotion. Right? So these are all these regions. It will be projected outside. So in as morphological regions. Fine. The next one is regarding this external apertures. Apertures means nothing else as a pores. So what are these pores or apertures are present on this body of this earthworm, right? The first one is of course the mouth is opening which is present in the body of this earthworm. And the last opening is known as anus to eliminate this digestive waste. Okay. And the third one is dorsal pose. Fourth one is spermatical opening. And the fifth one is female genital aperture. And the sixth one is male genital aperture. And the seventh one is nephridiophores, right? So these are all the holes are present on the body of this earthworm. Okay, so we know about the mouth as well as the anus. Mouth is the part which is used to take this food, and anus is the region which is used to eliminate this digestive waste. Fine. And let us see about this rest to 5 segments and where is it present as well as what is its function. The first one is dorsal pose. So dorsal pose, can you watch the first figure, dorsal view figure? There, this dorsal pose are marked with a dark colored dots. Fine. And it commences or starts from the 10th segment onwards. Means 10th segment to till the last this dorsal pose will be there. So it present from 10th segment onwards. Okay. Then what is its function? What is the use of this one? The coelomic fluid communicate to the exterior through these pores and keep the body surface moist and free from harmful microorganisms. Have you got the point? So inside this earthworm, it consists of the coelom cavity. So this cavity is filled with the fluid is known as a coelomic fluid. Okay, so this fluid will come outside, communicate outside through these pores. The fluid will come out through these pores, right? And what is the use with this? It is keeping the body moist always. When we touch this earthworm, we can understand it is always moist. The skin is not dry, right? And so this is helping to protect the body from harmful microorganisms. Clear? The next pore is spermatical opening. Spermatical opening is present in this ventrolateral sides, right? Listen, these 3 pair of small ventrolateral apertures lying in intersegmentally between the grooves of the segments 6 by 7, 7 and 8 and 8 and 9 means these pores are especially which is used to exchange the sperm cells during this reproduction, copulation, right? That's what this 2 earthworm is mentioned there, earthworm 1 and the earthworm 2. Actually, it used to exchange the gametes through these pores, right? Especially the sperm cells will be exchanged within 2 earthworms through these pores, right? And this is not present exactly in the segment, it is present between the segments, right? So that's what it is mentioned, 3 pairs of small ventrolateral apertures. Ventrolateral side it is present, ventral side and also lateral side, right? Lying intersegmentally means it is present between the segments, not exactly on the segments. And between which segments here, the grooves means already we said it's a differentials of 6 between the 6 and 7, 7 and 8 and 8 and 9. So 3 pairs of this spermatical opening is there to exchange these gametes for reproduction process. Clear? The next opening is female genital aperture. So these pore also helping for reproduction process. When we learn about this reproduction of this earthworm, we could understand this all this process of these openings, right? Since we are learning this morphology now, let us see wherever this opening is present now. Fine. So female genital aperture is a pair of only one pair is there. A pair of female genital aperture lie on this ventral side of this 14th segments. So already the same figure we displayed there, and we have differentiated this dorsal side as well as the ventral side because of the presence of this genital apertures only, hole only, right? So here also the same, this female genital aperture is a pair of opening. It is present in this ventral side and exactly in the 14th segment. It is marked as this opening of the oviduct. Opening of this oviduct is this actually genital pore or aperture. Fine. Next one is regarding this male genital aperture. So male genital aperture also, only one pair is there. So this also present in the ventral side. So a pair of male genital aperture are situated lateroventrally in the 18th segment. The same region, lateral side, ventral side, and it is present in this 18th segment. So there it is marked as this opening of, in the figure, in the second figure, ventral view figure, it is 18th segment. It is marked as this opening of vas deferens. Actually, it is a vas deferens is a part of this male reproductive system, but it will open here in the segment number 18 as a opening. So that is marked as this opening of vas deferens, means it is a male genital pore. Nephridiophores is used to eliminate this excretory waste. So nephridia is the cells of this excretion, right? So this nephridiopause is eliminating these waste substances which is produced in the excretory system, right? And in earthworm, it is present throughout the body and except few segments, right? And as we said, it is used to eliminate this metabolic waste. So the figure we displayed there also, we could see these various nephridias and their pores. So when we learn regarding this excretory system of this earthworm in this anatomical region, we can understand these various nephridias and their pores. Fine. And especially it is used to eliminate this metabolic waste. Fine. So this is one comparison chart regarding this two earthworms. The one is this Lambetomority, the another one is Metaphor postuma. So here the morphological as well as anatomical differences of these two earthworm is given here regarding these various characters and especially in which segment it is located for both these earthworms, right? So few character is given and especially in which area it is present, and that chart is given here, right? The first one is shape and size. So of course we said it is cylindrical in shape. Almost every earthworm is cylindrical in shape, clear. And the size 80 mm to 220 mm in length, and the width is 3.5 mm to 5.0 mm in width. But in case of this Metaphor postuma, 115 to 130 mm in length and width is 5 mm in width, right? Color Lambetomority light brown and Metaphor postuma dark brown. Okay, then segmentations. So Lambetomority, almost all the points we have learned, and extra we have to learn about this Metaphor postuma and the difference also, right? And the segmentation of this Lambetomority 165 to 190 segments and Metaphor about 140 segments. And Lambetomority, the clitorum is present in the segment number 14 to segment 17, and a Metaphor it is present in 14th to 16th, in the three segments it is present. Then spermatical opening is present with three pairs. It is present between 6 and 7, 7 and 8, and 8 and 9. But here in Metaphor postuma, four pairs is there. It is present between 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, and 8 and 9. Okay, then pharynx is present in the segment number 3rd and 4, and metapherpasma it runs up till 4th segment. And esophagus is present in the 5th segment. Metapherpasma it is present in the 8th segment. The gizzard, also the part which includes in this digestive system, it is present in the 6th segment. Metapherpasma it is present in 8th and the 9th segment. Then intestine is present in the 7th segment, in this lambetomority to anus. Then this metapherpasma it is starts from 15th segment to the anus. Then intestinal CK is absent for lambetomority, and metapherpasma it is present in the 26th segment. Then lateral hearts, circulatory system. Hearts are present for lambetomority. 8 pairs of lateral hearts are there from the segment number 6th to 13. But metapherpasma 3 pairs of these lateral hearts are there from 7th to 9th segments. Then nephridia, pharyngeal nephridia is present from 5th to 9th segment, and metapherpasma it is present 4th to 6th segment. Then micronephridia is present in 14th to last segment, metapherpasma 7th to last segment. Then meganephridia 19th to last segment, metapherpasma 15th to last segment. And male genital pore is present in 18th segment, and metapherpasma also it is present in the 18th segment. Then female genital pore is present in the 14th segment, and the same metapherpasma also it is present in the 14th segment. Fine, hope you understood, and we have completed this morphology of this earthworm, and the next class onwards we will start to learn regarding this anatomy, the structure of this internal organs of this earthworm. Fine, so let us go on few assignments regarding today's portion. So the first question is, name this Indian earthworms. It is given neatly in this previous slides there, and either you can go on with this one, or else we have sent this pages of this textbook. From there also you can collect it. Fine. Then the next one, classify the earthworm based on ecological strategies. Right. That is epigeics, anisix, endogeics. Fine. And what is peristomium? It is a mouth of this earthworm. It is present in this segment number 1. Then what is prostomium? It is one flap out overhanging. It is present in the mouth of this earthworm, right? And what is clitellum? The clitellum is a glandular thick region. It is producing the cocoon. It is present in the segment number 14 to 17 of this for earthworms. Fine. Then list out this external apertures of the earthworm. So as we said already, anus, mouth, anus, dorsal pose, spermatical opening, and male genital opening, female genital opening, as well as nephridia pores. Fine. So if they ask separately regarding each pose also we could able to write. Understood? So hope we can cover it here, and let us meet in the next class with this anatomy of this earthworm. Until that, please stay home and pray very well and do the walks very well. Fine. And pray. Keep on praying. Fine. Thank you.